All right, let's talk about allowances. There is going to be a portion of the project that will not have been decided on in the sales process. So granite countertops might not have been exactly chosen, their exact granite, or some tile, maybe some fixtures like the toilet or the sink faucets, etc. And those will be in an allowance page in the contract. So it's really important to have that page kind of taken out. They need to use that, how we went over working with a partner in previous section, but you want to have that readily available to even give them in the very beginning and say, hey, if you hadn't print this out, take this to our suppliers, or even break that apart into a PDF and attach it and send it over to the suppliers so that everybody's on the same page. This allowance thing is a little bit, there's a point of contention here, because when we do some of our lender finance renovations, we have to break down everything into material and labor with the total on the subtotal. So there's going to be, if there's not a lot of stuff, there's actually going to be a retail price, and then there's going to be, the allowance is going to be smaller. And of course, because we have those markups, you have to get paid as a project manager. The salesperson gets paid off of the total also. And then there's company overhead. So the client can get confused if they look through the contract and they look at the specification and they see that total retail price. And you need to direct them down to the allowance. And if they have those questions, you can, be transparent. Of course, that's what we are built on, is transparency. That there's markups, but there's also ancillary items involved in that, meaning, on some of these, like for instance, a toilet also needs, the seal kit and, sometimes a flange and, different parts of this stuff. A faucet also needs those, connectors. So there are some ancillary items in those that they are not going to pick, that will be supplied by the plumber. So it needs to have some part of that markup. So the key thing is getting that allowance page and having it readily available. And here, let me just show you kind of where we are with, here's your dashboard. And let's just jump right into, this is a new kitchen project that has just been sold. And move myself over here. The first thing you're going to do is you're just going to jump right into the proposal. There's a couple here, so you're going to do the approved one. And you can scroll down. And it's at the very end. And for a project like this, you can see this was a cash job, so we didn't have any of these categories subtotal, so we didn't have to for the lender. But when we do, there's going to be a number here on this. So when it gets into some of this stuff, it can, for instance, the material here, and it has a total up here, and then the allowance is somewhere else, it can get confusing. But for this job, it's actually easier, but I want to this still has an allowance page at the very end. So this is really key right here, right? We want to have this page readily available. You might print this, have a couple copies. This is going to be given to everything. And this is really this is what they have to purchase with. So this is all the money they have for their allowances. So countertops, they get $1,300, sink and faucet allowance. So when you're kind of working with them, if they're high, if they, their material for their cabinets are a little bit low, you want to let them know, keep them within that budget. They might find that entry door for $350, and then they have an additional $300. The key thing is to keep all of the fixtures that they haven't purchased under the $8,600. That's what you really need to work with. So you can say, hey, listen, you picked out a sink and faucet that was much lower, and your backsplash, etc., is going to be a little bit higher, so it's going to even it out. So this is kind of, you might want to put this into, separate, make some notes in your folder, how to manage this. But this allowance summary is really what you're going to work off of. Again, you can also look in the budget page here, and it's going to show you what your budget is for some of this stuff. So ceramic tile, material, you've got $1.68. So it's the same thing. So this is another way to do it. And also remember, you can export this into Excel sheet if you're Excel, you're able to do Excel. So, pretty easy stuff. But again, having that up front, having that given to the client, make sure they are aware of it. And, that's going to be one less thing that is, and you should kind of also be going over it when you do the project handoff, explain it again. That's a really good time to say, and here is your allowance page. So how do you do that? Maybe let's just jump into that really quick. So if you're in the proposals and you need to just grab that page, what do you do? So you're in here, real simple. You're just going to hit print, okay? And you don't necessarily need to print to the printer. You can print it into as a PDF. So you're just going to select, give it a second here to generate the preview. But you're going to select, print to PDF, and then you're just going to scroll down, and you're going to hit save. It's going to change this from print to save, and it's going to save that one page as a PDF. So that's how to grab that one page. Of course, it doesn't want to work, and I don't feel like redoing the video. So, well, I could show you again, or somebody else can show you. But that's all you're going to do, and that's a really good trick. I don't think people realize you can save as a PDF instead, or you can print as a PDF, and then you'll have that one page out of the whole contract that you can then go send out to everybody who needs it. All right, thanks, guys.